Hello, everyone. I look a little bit flushed because I've just done this, but I initially just wanted to write a post, but I thought this is actually something really useful that people could really use. So maybe this is something that people can use in future. And it's about, you've got this wonderful high energy and from maybe an event or you're just really in a good mood and you figured all these things out and everything's wonderful. And then you come across somebody who just wants to sap your energy and they just keep talking negative stuff at you and negative stuff and negative stuff. And at some point, you're just really struggling to keep your energy up because it took so much work to get up there and to finally get there where you have all these ideas and stuff. And then and you're trying to hold on and you're trying to help them. You're trying to give them ideas and everything. And they're just insisting on just putting basically holding you down. And it's not necessary that they want to do something bad. It may just be that they are low energy people, that they are low energy, or that they are just sick or whatever. Or they may be jealous, or they may be having the feeling that you're different, so they want you to bring you down again so that they can connect to you again. But it is really dangerous in business and especially in change management if you fall down there. And what happens usually is you try to hold on, and at some point it's just the bubble bursts, and you go down, and you're even more mad than you were before the event because you put all this energy in getting up there, and now you're down there, and it's just really infuriating. And the problem is that a lot of people will then start sabotaging themselves as well and go into old patterns. And that may be that you start craving bad food because your body is trying to get up to the level again that you were just at. Or you do some other more destructive behavior. And I was thinking about how to find a way to get out of that in a way that is actually really constructive and can be a win-win situation also because you've got win-win situations for these things as well. And the thing is, I was just on a Tony Robbins event, and there were a couple of things. He really raises the energy really high. I do disagree with him on some things in politics and stuff, but his events are actually, I don't get anything for saying this, but his events are incredible. And it's not so much that the techniques look so sophisticated, but if you actually use them, you realize how incredibly well they work. And for whatever reason, whatever is going on there, you are at a very high level at the end of these events. Usually you're buzzing, and it took a lot of energy to get there. You have to fully participate. But if you do, it really is, you can see it in the other people as well, especially if you go to in-person events. So I've just come from an event there, and there was this exercise about archetypes. So this is a post about energy and archetypes, basically. And if you're not into energy work, you don't really have to be. I don't want to weird you out with any kind of psychobabble or with some new age stuff. Some of you will be aware of some of these things, but I mean, everybody knows if you're in a good mood, you just get different ideas than if you're in a bad mood, right? If you're in a bad mood, you just remember everything that was bad, especially if you deal with the person or a certain situation, you remember just everything that went wrong. But if you're in a good mood, then suddenly you remember all the good times. That's a psychological fact. So they've got some um, research to prove that. So we don't have to go more into that. Archetypes is something that Tony Robbins just did in his Time to Rise event, which he does quite often, which I find incredibly useful. I think it comes from Jungian psychology, where every person has different types of personalities, not in a bad way or in an unhealthy way, but if you, for example, talk to your parent or to your father or mother or your brother or your child, you use different parts of yourself, right? And there are four archetypes that are actually quite useful for different situations. That's the warrior. And I'm not going to go through that whole exercise that Tony does, but if you've been to any of these events or you've done this kind of work before, you will know this. There's the warrior, for example. There's the magician. The magician is the guy who always gets everything done really easily and sees the the openings where other people don't see them. There's the lover, and there's the sovereign. So I was wondering, how do I use this stuff in order to, because somebody just really brought me down again, and I didn't want to lose that energy. So I just found a really cool way of how to do that. And I thought I'd share it with you, and a very healthy way as well. So I started out doing these incantations on my rebounder and used the warrior. And I kept breaking through basically and using this incantation, basically making up an incantation on the spot that really worked for me until I found a breakthrough. And once I found that breakthrough, I turned the warrior up towards a more light way of, they are warriors of the light, right? So Yoda, for example, in Star Wars was a warrior of the light. So I also looked up, because that is an NLP technique, right? If you look up, you go into visual mode. So if you look down, you're kind of brooding. If you look up, you go into visual mode. So that helped elevate the energy as well. And I kept doing it a little bit. And then I switched to lighter exercise. I went on my exercise bike. And then I found that the magician was coming out, and that brought out a lot of ideas. I had to stop on the bike all the time because I had another good idea, and there was another good idea, and there was another insight, and there was another insight. So my magician was coming out, right? But I kept going and kept the energy up through the physical energy, and kept going. And then I thought, then I'll made it lighter still. I did because I do have a lot of feminine energy, and that if I don't use that, I get imbalanced. I then did an embody workout, which is a dance workout, basically. My TV is right there. So I did a dance workout, which got me even a little bit higher. And then in order to come down again and replace the bad pattern that I had before, so that not something else doesn't put itself in there and gets me down again, I went into the sauna and played some meditative music, which got me even higher. And then when I came out again, I was exactly where I was after the event, and I felt really good. So that is a really nice way to use the archetypes, to use energy work, and to use exercise, which also is good for you. And the sauna is also good for you. So it's all things that are good for you, but they also bring you up in a very how do you put this? In a very natural way that feels very natural. So it's no work. It's actually, you want to go to the next step. This was really interesting because in change management, a lot of times what will happen to you, right? So you have all these ideas, and you know how this could be good for a company, or what you want to say, like win-win situations between humans and animals that also make a profit, for example. And then you come across all these people who are so negative, who also don't want to do the work and think, okay, it's just all expenses, and you have to keep going. And sometimes it brings you down. So this is a nice way how to get up again after a situation like that if you do feel down, because you can't stay down and still do a good job. You need to raise your energies, right? So I thought this might be helpful for everybody else as well. Okay, so I wish you all the best. This was Nivelle. I've got it behind me, and I wish you all the best. This is a Sunday. I didn't actually want to do any videos today, but it just worked out. So have a lovely end of the weekend and a very good week.